Two very similar looking handguns, one very similar project. Both of them Walthers, the PPQ 5-inch and the PPQ Q5 match. But another thing they have in common is that they both need a Talon grip. Now this one has a Talon grip, this one does not. The Talon grip on this PPQ has been on it for several years and about 5,000 rounds of competition, not to mention God knows how many cycles of dry fire. People that shoot with me go, yeah, 3. But it has had its share of wear, and it has had its share of use, and it does not get babied, I can tell you. It gets shot with sweaty hands in the summer, it gets shot with gloved hands in the winter, and everything in between. Now the only thing that I have had to do was take off the tongue that goes up the backstrap, because it basically just kept getting pushed over, and that has to do with the way I grip my pistol. I have a tendency to run my hand around it like this, and constant repetitions of doing that just sort of wore that out. So I took that off, and the rest of it, as you see here, is in very good shape, and it probably could go for another 5,000 rounds, but I decided I wanted to put a new one on, get that backstrap piece back on there. So I'm going to do that. The Q5 match is new. It was a review gun that somehow never found its way back, and so it needs a rubber Talon grip if I'm going to shoot it regularly, and I plan to do that. I love the aesthetics and the feel and the ergonomics of the Walther grip on the PPQ series, but the texture, although it's cool looking, is not the greatest as far as grip. So it really does benefit from a rubber Talon, and I just happen to have 2 of these rubber Talon grips, one for each. One of the questions or comments that I see a lot regarding the Talon grips in general is, number one, how hard are they to remove if you want to remove them, and how much of a mess do they leave behind if you needed to replace them, or if you just wanted to strip it off and not replace it. Either way. So I'll show you that. I'll show you how hard it is to take this off, and I'll show you what kind of mess it leaves behind. And again, this has been on there for a few years and a whole lot of use. So we will see what that looks like. Okay, let's get started stripping the old Talon grip off of this frame, and we'll put the new one on. And you don't really need much in the way of tools or anything like that, but there are a few things I recommend. And number one is I recommend a hair dryer, because I like to heat it before I remove it, because I figure the same reason you heat it when you put it on to make the adhesive pliable is going to also work when you take it off to make the adhesive pliable, and hopefully make more of the adhesive come off of the polymer underneath. All right, so that's the reason I'm going to do that. Then once I heat it, I'm going to take just a piece of cloth. This is just, a piece of cut up t-shirt. All right, so nice sort of lint-free cotton cloth, and I'm going to take some rubbing alcohol. I could use the wipes, could use these little wipes, but I might need 3 or 4 of them. The reason I want to use this cut up t-shirt is because, it's not going to leave any kind of lint or residue behind. And I'll use that to clean off whatever adhesive remains on the frame after we take it off. So let's get started. I'm going to start off by heating it up. Alright, so I got that probably about as hot as it needs to be. It's as hot as it's going to be anyway, and you can even see it started to peel loose already here at the edge, which is a good thing. We want to make it as easy as possible for this adhesive to come off. So that may have been the wrong approach, because what I've got here is a smooth adhesive free piece, and all the adhesive is right there. So I'm going to let this cool back down, and I'm going to try it without any heat first because that may be not the best way to do it. It's a learning experience, folks, right here on YouTube before your very eyes. Watch and learn. Alright, so I've started peeling slowly. Basically nothing I could do about this area. I had already messed it up, so I'm just going to peel slow. You know how when you're peeling the adhesive off anything, you're trying to take the label off of a jar you want to reuse or something like that. The idea is to pull slow with even pressure. Let that adhesive follow what you're peeling off. You can see it doing that. And we're going to have the same problem up here. And I think I'm forming a theory. I'll share that with you in a minute. Unless I decide it's stupid. I'll share it with you and you can decide it's stupid. Yeah, this reminds me, I haven't seen Alien in a while. Need to watch that movie again. And I probably could pull a little slower, except it's just kind of wanting to come off. And on top of that, I'm just an impatient person by nature. So, all right, so there's our Iki removed one, and there is much more adhesive left on this grip than I have seen in the past when I removed them. But this grip is much older and has had a whole lot more use. But yeah, I'm just picking at it with my fingernail. I'm just basically pushing it down with my fingernail, and it's actually coming off very easily. I don't know if you can see that here. I'm just trying to show you. I'm just pushing at it with my thumbnail, and it's coming up nice. And even if you don't use the nail, I'm just pushing at it now with the pad of my thumb, and it's making a nice little ball of snot here. There you go. Talon snot. Guys at Talon are going, gee, thanks. Thank you. That's what we want people to associate with our products. Oh, look at this. I'm just pushing this with my thumb, and it's coming off real easy. I was thinking I was going to have to go out in the garage and get the goo gone, but I don't think that's going to be necessary at all. Look at that. That came off just that quick, just by rubbing it with my thumb, and it is completely clean and smooth behind it. In fact, the only marks up here, you can see where I marked it up with my thumbnail. Look at that. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing here on the textured part. So the theory I was talking to you about earlier was that it probably left more adhesive behind up here because it's a smooth surface. And down here you have the texture, so you have a lot more airspace underneath that adhesion, or adhesive. Adhesion is a thing. Alright, that's coming off pretty good. So if I got, I don't know, 4 years, probably, this thing's been on there. I'm just thinking out loud. It's probably been on there 3 or 4 years. I've had this gun a long time. I don't shoot it as much as I sometimes think in terms of round count, because I shoot a lot of IDPA matches with it, and that's only 100 to 110 rounds usually for a match. And so you don't rack up the rounds as much as you think. And I don't shoot it recreationally nearly that much, because I'm so busy with other stuff, showing you guys all kinds of other cool stuff. So it doesn't get shot as much as I would think, but it still is up in the 5,000 round area. So, all right, that's pretty good. All right, so that was not hard work at all, actually. And I didn't use anything except these. So now I am going to use this. I'm going to just sort of douse an area with rubbing alcohol. And I'm just going to wipe it all down real good. Like I said, the two advantages here are that number one, I'm not having to use up the wipe, the alcohol wipe that Talon provides with the new grip. And number two, I'm not going to leave anything from the rag behind. So I wouldn't use a paper towel or anything like that. I wouldn't use any kind of cloth or paper that's going to leave a residue, or even worse, leave lots of little lint behind. So, because we do want this to be really clean before we put the new one on. So that is pretty good. Kind of a mess there. Now the other tool that I like to use is a dry brush. And an old toothbrush makes a perfect dry brush. And I just want to go over it. And because of this pattern, this sort of swirly, or like I like to call it, paisley pattern, you want to go in different directions with the brush. We're just trying to get into the texture and pull up any little residual stuff, certainly any lint, things like that, and we should be in good shape. I know that was a lot longer than your patience usually will tolerate for a Talon video, but I did want to show you real time, without any kind of editing, what it takes to remove a Talon grip, because the minute I edit it, you'll think I did some shenanigans. No shenanigans, folks. There you go. So here's the old grip with the snot balls. And this is going to be the new giveaway next month. Okay, you guys know the drill, right, on the new Talon. So here's the Talon for our PPQ. I always tell you, do a dry fit, and I try and practice what I preach. I will spare you the misery. I will fast forward through most of this, so you don't have to watch. Okay, now we've got to heat it up. Alright, good and hot. And now we do the patented Justin Opinion smush. And it's not a bad idea to do the heating and the smushing twice. Took off the old Talon grip, cleaned it up, and put on a brand new Talon grip. And we're good for at least another 5,000 rounds.